Hey everybody, welcome to orientation. Let's go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna share my screen. Now, this is my favorite class to teach, and I know you're all gonna learn some new concepts today. But yeah, let's jump right in. The purpose of why I do this is to help you understand how all this works, how Atlas Care works, and it all starts with the foundational concept of what health is. Because the sad truth is that most people were never taught what health is, how their body functions, and how it heals itself, right? Instead, we were taught from a young age that medicine heals us, right? If you get a cold, you've got to drink this. If you get a headache, you need to swallow this. Now, that's not health. You don't need a pill, potion, or lotion to heal. Your body knows how to heal. And it's right here. Health. What are the first four letters in the word health? H-E-A-L, heal. So I want you to understand that health is your ability to heal itself. That's what it is. It's your body's ability to heal itself. Don't forget that. All right. Now, if the body can heal itself, then why doesn't it at times? Or why does it heal slower at times? And so that's what we're going to talk about. But first, let's take a trip down memory lane here and revisit the basics. This is a wonderful analogy, but in the beginning, there were two cells. You've got male, female, and when those two cells joined, you get this bioelectrical infusion of life that starts. And that was you. Now, if you watch the process, these cells, they begin to multiply and multiply until you look like a little raspberry. Now, as this raspberry grows, it's going to form the very first part of your body, your brain. Now, as your brain develops, all of a sudden these fibers, they start to grow downward from the brain and they multiply and start to form a line. And we call this line your spinal cord. Now, as your spinal cord developed, we begin to see these fibers grow outward just as such. And what do we call these? We call them your nerves. And at the end of all your nerves, all of your organs begin to form, right? Because at this side, we see the thyroid, then your heart, then your lungs, and then your stomach, and then everything else, all your muscles and everything, because the entire body is created by the direct connection from your brain. And so that's how it works. You've got the spinal cord, you've got the nerves, and they all act as highways in which messages are sent to the rest of your body. And so that's how your body was built in the womb, but it's also how your body regenerates and heals itself when a problem exists. It's the same foundational concept. Now, here's a question for you. How much of your brain's energy do you want going to your heart, lungs, thyroid, stomach? How much of that? How much power do you want getting to the rest of your body? And there's the answer, 100%. Of course, you want all of that. How often? All the time. It's a no-brainer because that's what health is, 100% energy, powering the entire body from the brain. And that's why it's important to really keep these highways open, keep these highways from the brain to your rest of the body open, clear, and aligned. And so that's the idea. Now, once these soft tissue structures are formed, then the hard tissue structures begin to form. And it's going to start with your skull. And there it is. The brain is the most protected compared to any other organ in the body. And it does that how? Because it's completely protected by your skull. More protected than anything else. It's just a massive amount of protection. So that's why the brain's the most important. Now, as you know, we have the top of the brain, and then there's the bottom of the brain. Now, the bottom of the brain we call the brain stem, and that's going to be protected more so by the upper spine, and that's what we call the upper cervical region. Now, as most of you know, the rest of the spine, right, is going to be segmented. And it's going to be segmented into 24 individual bones we call vertebra. Now, why is it segmented? Because we've got to have those discs in between there to help absorb all of the compression so we can bend, move, twist, and just move the body, really is what it's there for. Now, because the spine is segmented, that means that these vertebrae can misalign from one another. And that's how they start to shift around. Now, most commonly, how does it happen? Is what I just put up here. All the injuries throughout our lives, the sitting, the bending, twisting, lifting, all the sports that we do, all the driving, the picking up the children. We've got injuries kindergarten, all the way up through high school, college, and all that can and will cause your muscles to go into spasm as these vertebrae shift out. And then we get the whole cascade effect, which is going to cause pain, arthritis, and disc degeneration. Now, as your brain tries to heal you, it tries, but that's the idea. It tries, but if there's misalignments, then it's going to be a lot harder for the body to heal because of all these traffic jams that are on the highway system. Now, why do I focus right there on the atlas one, the top neck bone? You'd think this just one out of 24. Why so much attention on C1 atlas? Well, and I'll tell you, because that's the one that's the most important traffic jam to clear out. You need to have that atlas cleared out before working on the rest, because that's the closest to your brain. And the thing is it's an easy concept to understand. If you don't start with the atlas, then I'm telling you, you're wasting your time and money. Because think about it, if all these lights were just flickering, what are you going to do first? You're going to go to the breaker. If all of them are flickering, you're going to go to the breaker, because it just makes sense, right? You go to the root. That's how it works. All right, so you've got the brain, you've got the body, and then you've got the door in between the two, and that's the atlas bone, atlas vertebra. So let's make sure to keep it opened. Now, aside from your skull, the atlas bone is going to be the most important bone in your body. Why? Because it surrounds the bottom of the brain. Now, just imagine with me for a second. Now, I assume everybody on this call here that's listening has been on at least one date before. So think back to your very first date. Let's say, you went out to a nice steak dinner. It was romantic, and you went out to the movies afterwards. You laughed, smiled, and then you drove home. Now you get home, you walk up to the front door, you're staring each other right in the eyes. And at this point, you're thinking, all right, this person's pretty cool, and you could tell they were wanting to give you a kiss. But hey, now you start easy. This is the first date, so you want to take it slow. They know that they're gonna play it safe here. They're gonna go right on the cheek. So they lean in. You both close your eyes. It's about to be great. And guess what happens? They trip over your shoe, and instead of kissing you here on the cheek, they just miss it by 2 inches and end up kissing you just beneath the earlobe. Now, is that sending the same message? Is it? Come on. It's only a difference of what? 2 inches? Why is that a different message? Because your body intuitively knows that the cheek is public and the upper neck is private. And your body will subconsciously protect itself by drawing this emotional reaction when this part of your body is stimulated. Now, whether it's stimulated positively in a romantic sense or stimulated negatively in a guarded sense, regardless, your body knows that the upper neck is massively important, and it'll draw these physiological changes to protect it. Now, not only is the atlas vertebra the most important bone, but it's also the most vulnerable, meaning that it gets misaligned more common than any other bone in your body. Now, why is it so vulnerable? That's the most common question we get. And the answer is because it's unique shape. The atlas is built completely different from all the other spinal and neck bones. Now, why? because you've got to have the movement and the mobility. Look what I can do with my head. You can't do that anywhere else in the spine. So because you have all that mobility, you're not going to have much stability. Now, you're going to have half of your head rotation, so turning your head left and right, half of it, you're just moving that C1 bone on that C2 bone. And so half of that's coming from the atlas alone. Now, unfortunately, with that, all that range of motion, again, you've got to sacrifice that stability. And the thing is you can look at this video here. All these, there obviously you can't see muscles and ligaments up here in the soft tissue, but these ligaments are very small and very delicate up there. So when you injure your head and neck, the atlas is going to be the first to misalign. Okay, now why does all this matter? So what if the atlas misaligns? Well, let's talk about it. Where are my Superman friends here? There he is, Christopher Reeve, who remembers him? Well, for those of you that don't know who he was the star actor in the first 4 Superman movies. Great actor, great movies. Now, what happened to him? Why wasn't there a Superman 5? Well, unfortunately, after filming Superman 4, one day he was riding his horse, and then just bam, just like that, he got thrown off, shattered his upper cervical vertebra, which completely paralyzed him from the neck down. You know, wheelchair bound, he couldn't even breathe on his own. He had to have the machine breathe for him. And as sad as it is, he died 10 years later. Now, why do I share this? Because it directly involves the upper neck vertebra. And that's what it's about, you know, and what you need to understand is that whether the atlas dislocates on a major scale or if it misaligns on a smaller scale, regardless, you're still going to see full body effects with both. Now, the misalignment may not result in full body paralysis, but it will result in full body dysfunction. You see, you're going to see brain dysfunction, heart dysfunction, lung dysfunction, all these different organs in your body is muscles, pain, joint pain, headaches, migraines, dizziness, all these different things we call symptoms as a result of the body being misaligned. There's other causes, of course, but again, very commonly to see these from that misaligned spine. Now, every single part of your body is directly controlled by the brain. And the primary thing that's going to interrupt this is going to be the atlas bone, because that's going to be surrounding the brainstem there. So you've got to start there. Now, the critical question that needs to be asked is, can this problem be fixed? And the answer is yes. And that's my job as an atlas specialist, is to figure out exactly how it's misaligned and then figure out how to gently realign it, because you deserve that. You know, and I'm telling you, the world would be a better place if everyone's atlas was aligned. We want that for ourselves. We need it for ourselves, our coworkers, our families. Yeah, we want these people, including ourselves, to live longer, healthier lives than the generation before us. That's the goal, right? And I'm telling you, atlas care is a key component of that. You know, and why would someone leave their atlas out of alignment? You know, right? Why would you leave yours out? Exactly. Most people have no idea that it's misaligned. They're walking around atlas out of alignment and they don't even know about it. And so that's why I'm taking the time to teach you about it, because I need help. You know, too many people out there walking around misaligned, and it's just hard to watch that. So, and again, it's symptoms. People, they're noticing these symptoms come up, and what are they doing? They're relying on medicine. They're relying on pills, potions, and lotions to solve the problem. And it's not helping, or it helps temporarily, but it's not, the underlying problem's festering and getting worse. You know, and that's the thing, you know, with pills, there's pills to wake people up, pills to get people to fall asleep, you know, pills to numb the headache just to get a headache, you know, the next day, you know, pills to lower blood pressure just to see it rise, you know, and then of course the pills to address all the side effects from all the pills that people to take. But again, like it's a completely different model that people are subscribed to. And I'm telling you, ain't no pill or potion is ever going to fix something like this with the Atlas. And in fact, I'll tell you, it actually slows down the healing process because now your body's got to process all these chemicals that are made in a lab. So it's not an ideal solution when it comes to that. Okay, so the whole idea here is we got to understand that your body heals itself from an above, down, inside out perspective. And hopefully this class has helped do that for you. All right, I'm going to finish with my favorite quote from Warren Buffett. Here we go. When I was 16, I had just two things on my mind: girls and cars. I wasn't very good with girls, so I thought about cars. I thought about girls too, but I had more luck with cars. Now, let's say that when I turned 16, a genie had appeared to me and said, Warren, I'm going to give you the car of your choice. It'll be here tomorrow with a big bow tied on it. Brand new. It's all yours. Now, having heard all the genie stories, I'd say, oh, well, what's the catch? And the genie would answer, there's only one catch. This is the last car you're ever going to get in your life, so it's got to last a lifetime. Now, if that had happened, I would have picked out that car. But can you imagine knowing it had to last a lifetime? What I would do with it? I would read the manual about 5 times. I would always keep it garaged. If there was just the littlest dent or scratch, I'd have it fixed right away because I wouldn't want it rusting. I would baby that car because it'd have to last a lifetime. Now, that's the position that you are in when you're concerning your mind and body. You only get one mind and one body, and they've got to last a lifetime. Now, it's very easy to let them ride for 40 years, many years, but if you don't take care of that mind and body, they'll be a wreck in 40 years, just like the life of the car would be. And so it's what you do right now, today, that determines how your mind and body will operate 10, 20, 30 years from now. Warren Buffett. All right, everyone, I hope you learned something new. Take care, and we'll see you next time.